What if you could travel the world and step into countries where ancient temples glow with golden statues, monks walk peacefully through the streets at sunrise, and the teachings of Buddhists still shape everyday life? Buddhism has been influencing cultures, philosophies, and societies for over 2,500 years. Even today, hundreds of millions of people follow its path of wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness. But which countries are the biggest Buddhist nations in 2026? In this video, we're counting down the top 15 most Buddhist countries in the world, from massive communities of believers to stunning temples and living spiritual traditions. Some of these you'll definitely recognize, but a few might actually surprise you. Number 15, Malaysia. It might not be the first country that comes to mind when you think of Buddhism, but it actually has a really vibrant Buddhist community, mostly among the Chinese Malaysian population. You'll find beautiful temples scattered across cities like Kuala Lumpur and Penang. One of the most impressive is Kek Lok Si Temple, one of the largest Buddhist temples in Southeast Asia. With its stunning pagodas, giant statues, and peaceful gardens, it's a must-visit. Malaysian Buddhism is mostly Mahayana, though you'll also see Theravada influences. Vesak Day is celebrated with lanterns, colorful processions, and a really warm community spirit. Even in this multicultural country, Buddhist values still play a quiet but important role in society. Number 14, Nepal. The actual birthplace of the Buddha. This is where Siddhartha Gautama was born, and the sacred site of Lumbini draws thousands of pilgrims every year. You can walk through ancient monasteries, temples, and ruins tied directly to Buddha's early life. While Hinduism is the majority religion, Buddhism runs deep here, especially Tibetan Buddhism in the Himalayan regions. Monasteries perched on mountain slopes surrounded by prayer flags create some of the most beautiful spiritual landscapes on earth. Nepal's mix of Hindu and Buddhist traditions gives it a very unique spiritual vibe. If you're looking for history and peace, this country hits differently. Number 13, Singapore. A super-modern city-state that still holds Buddhism very close. A large part of the population, especially the Chinese community, identifies as Buddhist. The Buddha Tooth Relic Temple in Chinatown is particularly stunning, with its grand architecture and peaceful atmosphere. Here you'll see a beautiful blend of Mahayana Buddhism and Chinese culture. People still practice chanting, meditation, and rituals regularly. Vesak Day brings lantern displays and acts of kindness all over the city. Even with its fast-paced life, Singapore keeps a strong spiritual heartbeat. Number 12, Taiwan. Which is widely recognized as one of the most active and dynamic centers of modern Buddhism today. The island is home to several large and influential Buddhist organizations that are known globally for their humanitarian work and educational programs. Groups like Fo Guangshan and Tzu Chi have earned international respect for their incredible charitable activities and disaster relief efforts. Taiwan's Buddhist temples are often huge in size and stunning in artistic beauty, many of them blending traditional architecture with modern facilities for meditation, study, and community gatherings. Buddhism here mainly follows Mahayana teachings but also incorporates meditation practices inspired by Zen traditions. Religious festivals regularly attract thousands of devotees and curious tourists. Buddhist values of compassion and social service are deeply respected across Taiwanese society, encouraging people to participate in volunteer work, charity drives, and helping those in need. With its highly active Buddhist institutions and dedicated community of followers. Number 11, India. The original birthplace of Buddhism and one of the most historically significant countries on this list. More than 2,500 years ago, Prince Siddhartha Gautama attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree and became the Buddha right here on Indian soil. Sacred places such as Bodh Gaya, Sarnath, and Kushinagar remain major pilgrimage destinations that draw Buddhists from every corner of the world. Although Buddhism declined in India over many centuries, it has been experiencing a strong revival in modern times. Millions of people across the country continue to practice and follow Buddhist teachings. A large number of Indian Buddhists follow the Navayana tradition, which was inspired by the social reformer Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Pilgrims travel to India not just to visit historical sites but also to participate in meditation retreats and spiritual learning experiences. India's foundational role in Buddhist history is unmatched. Number 10, Mongolia. Where Tibetan Buddhism is deeply woven into the national culture. More than half the population follows Buddhist traditions. Monasteries like Gandan Tegchen in Ulaanbaatar are important spiritual hubs. After being suppressed during the communist years, Buddhism has made a powerful comeback since the 1990s. Today, you'll see monasteries being restored, young monks studying, and traditional rituals still very much alive. Prayer wheels, chanting, and deep philosophical study remain central to Mongolian spiritual life. Number 9, South Korea. A country famous worldwide for technology and pop culture, but one that also carries a long and beautiful Buddhist history. Buddhism first arrived in Korea almost 1,700 years ago and has deeply influenced its art, philosophy, and way of life. Even today, millions of South Koreans continue to follow Buddhist teachings. Beautiful mountain temples such as Bulguksa and Heinsa are among the most stunning religious sites in all of East Asia. Many people participate in the popular temple stay program, where they get to experience real monastic life, meditating, learning rituals, and practicing mindfulness in a calm setting. Korean Buddhism puts special emphasis on living in harmony with nature and deep inner reflection. Every year, lantern festivals during Buddha's birthday light up the streets with beautiful colors. Even in this highly modern society, Buddhist traditions continue to hold cultural importance for its rich history and active community. Number 8. Japan. A country that has one of the richest and most influential Buddhist cultural traditions in the entire world. Buddhism first arrived in Japan during the 6th century and quickly became a powerful spiritual force that shaped art, philosophy, and daily life. Even today, many Japanese people comfortably combine Buddhist practices with their traditional Shinto beliefs. Zen Buddhism, which developed and flourished here, has spread its influence across the globe, especially in the areas of meditation and mindfulness. Iconic temples like the Golden Kinkaku-ji in Kyoto attract millions of visitors every year with their breathtaking architecture and peaceful surroundings. These sacred sites represent centuries of devotion and artistic beauty. You can see Buddhist philosophy reflected in many aspects of Japanese culture, from the calm elegance of tea ceremonies and carefully designed Zen gardens to small family altars where people honor their ancestors. Seasonal festivals connected to Buddhist traditions are still celebrated with great respect across the country, because of its deep historical roots and massive global influence on Buddhist thought and practice. Number 7. Vietnam, which has one of the largest Buddhist populations in all of Southeast Asia. Buddhism reached Vietnam long ago through ancient trade routes that connected India and China. Over many centuries, it blended beautifully with local beliefs and cultural traditions, creating a unique form of Vietnamese Buddhism. Famous landmarks like the One Pillar Pagoda and the Perfume Pagoda are not just beautiful tourist spots, they are important national symbols of faith. Vietnamese Buddhism strongly emphasizes compassion, mindfulness, and harmony within the community. The teachings of the respected Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh brought worldwide attention to Vietnamese Buddhist philosophy. His simple yet powerful message of mindful living and peace has inspired millions of people around the globe. Buddhist festivals and temple ceremonies continue to be lively and meaningful cultural events in Vietnam. Even through periods of political change and hardship, Buddhist traditions have remained remarkably strong and resilient. Number 6. Laos. Often described as one of the most peaceful and serene Buddhist nations in Southeast Asia, Theravada Buddhism deeply shapes the daily life of the majority of Laotian people. Monasteries, locally known as Wats, serve as important centers of education, community gatherings, and spiritual guidance. One of the most touching and beautiful traditions here is the early morning alms ceremony, where monks walk barefoot through the streets while local residents offer food with kindness and respect. This simple daily ritual beautifully represents generosity and the strong spiritual connection between monks and society. Buddhist teachings guide many aspects of Laotian culture, ethics, and moral values. Golden temples scattered across the country create a calm and spiritual atmosphere that visitors often remember long after they leave. Festivals such as Bound That Luang bring the whole community together to celebrate Buddhist history and unity with joy and devotion. Many travelers say Laos feels like one of the most spiritually calming places on earth. Number 5. Bhutan. Bhutan is often described as the world's most spiritual kingdom. Tibetan Buddhism strongly influences the country's culture and national identity. Monasteries are dramatically built on mountain cliffs, creating breathtaking landscapes. The famous Tiger's Nest Monastery is one of the most iconic Buddhist sites on earth. Bhutan's philosophy of gross national happiness reflects Buddhist ideas about balance and well-being. Colorful festivals known as Chekas celebrate spiritual teachings through sacred dances. Monks play an important role in guiding community life and moral values. Many Bhutanese grow up surrounded by Buddhist rituals and meditation practices. Nature, spirituality, and culture are deeply connected in this Himalayan nation. Number 4. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is one of the oldest Buddhist civilizations in the world. Buddhism arrived here in the 3rd century BCE and has shaped the island's identity ever since. Nearly 70% of the population follows Theravada Buddhism. The Temple of the Tooth in Kandy is one of the most sacred pilgrimage sites for Buddhists. It is believed to house a relic of the Buddha himself. Every year the Esala Parahira festival honors this relic with grand cultural celebrations. Thousands of dancers, musicians, and decorated elephants participate in the procession. Buddhist teachings strongly influence Sri Lankan ethics and social traditions. Ancient monasteries and meditation centers continue to preserve traditional practices. Number 3. Myanmar. Myanmar is one of the most devoted Buddhist nations in the world. Around 89% of the population follows Theravada Buddhism. The country is famous for thousands of golden pagodas shining across its landscapes. The Shwedagon Pagoda in Yangon is one of the most sacred Buddhist monuments. Monks play a central role in society and education throughout the country. Many families encourage young boys to spend time as novice monks. Meditation retreats and scriptural studies are important parts of Burmese culture. Acts of generosity toward monks are considered highly virtuous. Even during difficult political times, Buddhist traditions remain strong. Number 2. Cambodia. Cambodia is one of the most strongly Buddhist nations on earth. About 97% of the population follows Buddhism. Temples and monasteries serve as spiritual and educational centers across the country. Cambodian Buddhism belongs mainly to the Theravada tradition. Monks are respected figures who guide communities and teach moral values. Many national ceremonies are connected to Buddhist rituals. Even after periods of conflict in the 20th century, Cambodia rebuilt its religious institutions. The famous temple complex of Angkor also became an important Buddhist pilgrimage site over time. Festivals and ceremonies continue to unite communities in spiritual celebration. Number 1. Thailand. With around 94% of the population practicing Buddhism, Thailand truly lives and breathes the teachings of the Buddha. Temples can be found in nearly every village, town, and city throughout the country. Bangkok alone is home to hundreds of magnificent Buddhist temples, including the world-famous Wat Phra Kaew and Wat Pho. It is very common for Thai men to temporarily ordain as monks for a period of time as a traditional rite of passage and way to show respect to their parents and society. Buddhist teachings quietly influence everyday behavior, education, family values, and cultural practices across the nation. Major festivals such as Visakha Bucha are celebrated with huge enthusiasm, drawing millions of pilgrims and tourists who come to experience Thailand's warm spiritual atmosphere. With its incredible devotion, rich cultural influence, and enormous Buddhist population, Thailand proudly earns the top spot as number 1. Buddhism continues to inspire millions of people around the world with its message of peace, compassion, and mindfulness. From the temples of Thailand to the mountains of Bhutan, each country on this list keeps Buddhist traditions alive in its own unique way. These nations not only protect ancient teachings but also share them with modern generations. Which of these Buddhist countries would you love to visit someday? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating global rankings. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.